Welcome to Factorio Highlights. My name is Nilaus, and today we are going to highlight the progress on my amazing and yet very spaghetti-like base that I'm running over on Twitch. And so this is a way for you to catch up in case you have no interest in joining the live streams, or are unable to join the live stream, or maybe have missed a few, or you just want to catch up on sort of get a sense of where we are. Anyway, this is being streamed on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays at 8 p.m. Central European Time over on my Twitch channel, and it's twitch.tv/Nilaus. And if you can't join any of those days, you're very likely to find me online at any day at 8 p.m. Central European Time. So, what are we here? I have, this is the fourth of these weekly updates, so if you haven't watched the other ones, maybe go check that out, and we'll tell like a continuous story about how we got to this awful spaghetti mess that I absolutely love, because that's the whole point of this series. The whole point of the series is to force me to build in a way that I don't usually do, and oh boy am I doing that. And look at these long lines of just haphazard thing. We're going to start off with where we left off at the end of the previous update. This is where we are, and I'm going to just highlight the issues and challenges and plans of that I'm going into sort of the next week with. The first thing is, very much so, the evolution factor is up to 89%, and we know that at 90% we will start seeing the green biters, the behemoth biters, and they will just munch through something as puny and pathetic as this. So we will see very soon behemoth biters coming in, and the production range is not really touching, but as soon as we start getting just a bit more production going in the base, then we will absolutely see that we are see the pollution hitting them, and that will be triggering attacks, and we are just not ready for behemoth attacks. So my challenge is I need to focus on uranium mining, uranium processing, teching up to yellow science so I can unlock. Where is the unlock I need? Oh dear, that one, and then that one, so I can get uranium ammo so I can upgrade. And that means I need teching to yellow science, and uranium processing will be the highlights of what we're going to be working on. So the first thing in that process will be to work on the uranium mining and the low density structures. Let's have a look at how I start solving that problem. And here we are after the first stream of the week, and we are just going to start by zooming in at, let me see, this location here. It used to say MDEP with 100,000 uranium, and that is quickly being processed here. We're bringing as much as we possibly can. We should also get that overlay up. And it's going into a very simple build that just simply processes everything that we get in as fast as we get it in, puts it out into some boxes, and as you can see here, we are filling up these boxes quite rapidly, and that will be reserved just for uranium ammo later on. And of course we are also processing and putting aside all of the uranium 235, because we are going to need that eventually for maybe some nuclear power if you want to go that route, which I think we will, but it's it'll get there. Or maybe we'll just use it for nukes. That's also fun. What else do we need that for? Covarex, of course, and then some rocket fuel or some nuclear fuel, which isn't really necessary. So this is a little thing. It also means that now we are consuming more sulfuric acid, which is going to be a bit of an issue later on, as the sulfuric acid was made primarily to feed the sulfur. No, the sulfuric acid is drawing on the sulfur, and the sulfur was primarily made to feed the blue science and then a bit into batteries. And now we start also using it for uranium mining, and then soon we're going to use it also for other things such as the blue circuit builds, and then we might see issues coming along. Here we have the start of the next build. This is low density structures, and the irony of it is that if I look in here, let me just not start building it. I have made this design, and if we look at the design here, this one will be 4 times as much, because this is only highlighting 4, and that will give us a mediocre 3 low density structures per second. 3 low density structures per second is going to be our target, and because if we look towards the next challenge here, if I put 3 low density structures in, then I get 3 utility science packs out. So that's definitely the objective. Then I'm going to also use the flying robot frames, which we have already done. And then finally, we will be working towards the processing units, because that's going to be, well, that's going to be a big hassle. Also, I am changing my design here. This design is now using electric furnaces. I'm using the space the way I like it. I really like that there's a bit of breathing room, but it sort of takes up the majority of the space. You look at this and go like, yeah, it uses the space efficiently, but it's not like there isn't any room to breathe or walk down the path, the middle, and you know. So this is how I like it. It comes in here, 2 full lanes in, 2 full lanes out. I'm not using any modules because I don't really feel that's necessary. And then of course we have the 2 steel production plants that we haven't built yet, but let's take a look at what they look like when they're built and then zoom forward in time. And here we are, we have jumped forward. What we can see is that I have extended my solar panel array so that we are staying ahead of the curve in terms of this, and also just to make sure that we keep using this. I've also made a little path in here so we can consume away the PGTR in the middle, and also want to consume away this the Barthik here out here. Oh, it's going to be taking a bit more time for that, but this one should be able to be cleaned out pretty rapidly, so we have a nice clean area. Those 2 million coal are going to last a while as well. And let's zoom back in here. This is the low density structure build that we have worked on. We have the copper is already done. The steel is going to be a nice build. It looks very much similar to the copper build we built previously. The only difference is that it goes up here, and then the iron goes down and then becomes steel. And then we have 2 lanes of steel going out and out here on a yellow belt, because if we're getting a red belt in, if we're getting 30 inbound and consuming 30, let's have a look at this part just to see. I will get a total of 3 outbound. So yeah, it's not exactly needing more. So this is 3 plus 3, so that's going to be 6 inbound plus another 60 inbound here, plus and then 90 plastic. And that is the crazy thing. Like, so here, 90 plastic, 60 of that, plus 6 plus 3. That's what we need to get just a modest, a mediocre 3 outbound. That is the cost of expensive recipes. And then on top of that, we have 10 times recipe, 10 times, 10 times the science cost. So we are going to burn through a lot before we get anywhere. This plastic is over here. We've now built an extra one. We had this one previously, which was primarily sending 1 in here, but then we had additional. I have restructured this so that it outputs 2 full red belts of plastic, and then I can take 3 belts going down here and 1 belt going over here to feed these. This is not working as well because the iron is not working, and we are really in trouble with iron. But luckily we have a Barthik here has spawned with 2 million there, which is really nice. And also you can see something interesting here. That is not good. We are simply running out of sulfuric acid. Why are we running out of sulfuric acid? Well, that is because someone has built a new thing that consumes a lot of sulfuric acid. And what might that be? That might be the last bit of the structure that we need for our yellow science, which is still what we're working on. If you look at research or science, it has now crossed into the realm where we can see behemoth biters coming in, which means we are going to see behemoth biters. If we look at the pollution cloud, we are also starting to touch more, and not so much, but here and there we are touching. It's not so bad yet, but as soon as we start actually producing the yellow science, then the whole base will kick into gear again. This build here, 60 plus 60, that's 120 copper plus 60 iron, that is coming in here, and we'll see how much it consumes. It consumes not 60 but 90 here, and not quite. So we have a slight surplus here. It produces 24. The 24 goes, some of it in here. You can see the plastic isn't quite in there yet. There, I'm going to use the 6 of those, so I have 18 going forward, and plus 3 green circuits, or it's 3. So what I now have is 18 green plus 3 red. That's kind of the balance at least, and this one is not made. And I'll try to make that, and then that will actually be the next thing we want to do, because as we do that, then we're going to bring it from here into that, and from here into that, and then we'll have right here the yellow signs. But as soon as we have the yellow signs, we will also realize that this one is only ever designed to handle 4 inputs, and so I need to redo that, which is obviously going to be the next challenge for us to design. So let's have a look at how we solve that. And now some more time has passed. The first thing we will notice that has changed is up here we've added even more solar panels, and I'm going to keep making more solar panels here as well. This is just basically, again, just to stay ahead. We're starting to put in modules and modules into most of our builds, and that will increase the power consumption. So we want to stay ahead. Let's actually have a look at it. We should be really far ahead, but suddenly when you start doing modules and beacons and all that kind of stuff, it goes really quickly. So we want to stay ahead. Also, it's a great way to sort of consume resources. This is I want to make sure that everything is consuming. If I have something, they should be consuming like this, for example. I have stripped this down to much lower quantities, and they will be working on this one. Can we even see anymore what's... Oh, it's a Warren. I think that must be a Warren, right? Could it? No. No, Aberon. It's Aberon 123. Yeah, there we go. It's hard to see what what it used to say anymore. But here we're still consuming this. We're still consuming here as well. That's Natsa, and that goes in here to the production of solar panels. But what I've done is I made an overflow so that any excess green circuits will go into the blue, because as we all know, blue circuits will always need more green circuits. So what I'm doing here is it's making 2 per second, and I need, if I look at the production here, if I want to do one of these crafts per second, and I do, then I need 2 processing units and 3 low density. We built 3 low density, we built 1 modular flying robot frames, and now we built 2 processing units as well here. But the problem is it's going to require 43 per second plus 4 here, and we're not getting those in. We are getting 3 here, and we're getting 24 here. So if I can get the other one over here to actually start feeding in, which it will as soon as this one fills up, then it will be working better. But until then, it's not working very well. And as you can also see, this belt is kind of not great. But you know, the main part is getting it working. And we also have additional sulfuric acid because we ran out of that at the last time. So we can also just take a quick glance at that. But of course, more importantly, where are all the blue circuits going? Where's it going? It's going to a new little facility here. There. Jump out, go in. And of course we have modules on this because, well, anything else would be insane. That is pretty close to 3, but not quite 3, but it's pretty close. And it's consuming slightly less. I'm pretty happy with this. It's working, and right now it actually is fully saturated on anything. Hold on, is it? It is also getting enough power, so that's not a problem. So that is great. That gets all the yellow signs up on this full and saturated belt. Oh, this one's not working. We really want this one to work. Oh, this is for our hub, that's why. And the yellow signs plus the red and the green is coming here and going into this beautiful and glorious location. Now, one of those will always be lagging, and the other ones will be idle, and it is not surprisingly the blue, because the blue has been having all sorts of problems here. We are consuming this one really rapidly, and then we're going to move into that location afterwards. But let's first have a look at this. All of these have modules on them, and this can consume 3.4 or 3.5, and I'm producing about 3, so there's a slight overconsumption here, which is exactly what I want. I want to make sure that so that if things stall or something like that, then we can go in. Now, this was the objective. The objective was to get the yellow science, and in order for us to get yellow science, then we can work on the uranium, but it's 10k science, so it's going to take a wee bit of time. Let's just... Oh, hello, autosave. That's still pretty quick. We are going to take a look at the sulfur, because sulfuric acid, because that's something that we had issues with. There we go. Let's set vehicle snap on. And it should be over here. We have a new sulfuric acid build that is better. Also move the plastic. The plastic is not so great. Why is the plastic not so great? That's because we're simply not getting enough oil in here, and that's something we have to deal with. This part. Oh, it's not actually fixed. It's not actually fixed yet. It'll be fixed in the next episode. I am sure of it. Yeah, this one will be expanded. This one will be expanded. Let's expand those, because what also is needed, and this is where we get into this the Factorio Extended, which is a mod that also sort of adds more to the late game to make it more interesting and get newer tiers of machinery. And that's we have a few things researched. The most prominent of those is actually the gun turret Mark II, which we'll be looking at. But every single one of these things, or most things, require titanium. Titanium comes from titanium ore. Titanium ore comes from iron, sulfuric acid, and water. So we are going to need a steady supply of sulfuric acid beyond what we have right here. What I've also done is I've looked at this location and basically said, yep, this is where we are going to build the titanium. So that will be the next thing we want to get started on, building titanium, so we can get the uranium ammo. We can build the titanium while this uranium ammo is researching. Then we can build the uranium ammo, and then start upgrading our defenses, and it's going to be needed because we're already at 91%. So we are seeing behemoth biters, and they are crashing upon our walls, and now our pollution is reaching out and putting pollution into the spawners, so they will generate attacks. That is not great. Let's see how the next steps go as the final part of the week is unfolding. And here we are. We can already see that there are attacks coming in on the side. And let's zoom in and start where we left off. Where we left off was looking at the sulfuric acid, which wasn't sufficient. Now I've upgraded it, also modules at least, using some power. I could build, but I'm not going to. I could build the explosives, but I really don't have a need for explosives right now. The next time I'm going to need explosives is for artillery shells or tank shells, and I don't think I want to use tank shells, and I don't know if I'm going to use artillery, so I don't need it for anything except for a few cliff explosives, and the stuff I have here, I think that's going to be enough for the cliff explosives I need for the foreseeable future. So that means more in here, this up to 30 inbound, and that's again being consumed here per second, about 33 being consumed, and producing again much nicer, 350 sulfuric acid per second, which is a lot nicer than what we had before. And that means we can now support all the things we want. We can support the battery production, the sulfur for the blue science, we can support the blue circuits, we can support uranium mining, and finally we can also support the titanium processing that we are going to take a look at right now. Let's have a look and go down here, down south for the sulfuric acid. We can follow the sulfuric acid line down here, going past Timbo. And that is almost out. That's going to be a problem very soon. But then we luckily, it was really fortunate in many different ways. Thank you, Barthik, again. Spawning another 2 million iron, really close. And also starving spawning here. That was super amazing. And it was exactly what we needed. Very close. And exactly the iron we needed for the main base. So as this one runs out, we'll transition this here, and we'll have now our titanium processing facility in here, which takes water, sulfuric acid, and iron coming in. And then we can look at the recipe. This one is, yeah, it doesn't use much, and it's on a 5-second craft time, so it's 1 sulfuric acid per second. Not a lot, but you know, it takes a full belt in and delivers a full belt out, and it goes out here. Generally, this is not something we need like in vast quantities, but it's something that we must have, and we need need to be able to come back in here and just grab 1,000 and then move on. In here, this is going to be also a really simple build. This is basically our normal build here. This is going in. There's not much to say. It is making a lot of titanium that we can then come back and use. And what are we using titanium for? Well, we're using it for gun turrets Mark II. If we want to look at a gun turret Mark I versus a gun turret Mark II, let's have a look at if we can find one of the gun turrets Mark I here. Now this one is a gun turret Mark I. It has 18 range and shooting speed is 10 plus 11 per second. I don't really know what that means, but this one comparatively is 25 range, so it has 7 more range. Range is incredibly important. And on top of that, it has shooting speed of 20 plus 22 per second, and it also has a damage bonus of 50%, which is also increased by everything. So damage bonus is also plus 80% when this turret is firing. And on top of that, we are now using uranium ammo. So if we look comparatively here, this one is shooting at a speed of 10 plus 11 per second. I don't really know 10 plus 11 per second. What does that mean? If that just means it is, if there's a missing bracket between that, it means 21 per second, or it doesn't mean it shoots 10. I don't know what it means, but plus 11 per second. Anyway, that's what it does. And the damage is 8 plus 17.92 physical. Let's do a comparison to one of our new builds, which will be up here. This one is shooting at, I don't know, I'm going to attempt to say twice as fast, and it has damage bonus, so it deals damage is 36 plus 80 per second. So it's basically 4 times as much damage per shot, and the shot is twice as fast. So that means it's probably dealing 8 times as much damage, plus it is longer range. And then you go like, well, that's cheating. Yeah, but it's also like late game, and at some point shooting biters is just not fun. But it, at the cost of additional resources, it takes 2 normal turrets plus some titanium to convert it in here. Plus we've been putting in a lot of uranium ammo, which is 3 times as efficient as normal ammo. So that's also like a massive boost. What I'm doing here is I'm setting now up some automatic feeding, and I'm setting up here. So if this runs out, it will throw a warning like that, which says it has run out. They're still full of things, but it has just run out, and down here. So that means I need to go up here and fill it. It's not a flawless system by no means, but once I've converted all of these and I've converted something here, this side is converted, this one is converted, this up here is kind of almost converted. So you can see I am working on a conversion to this, and that was the goal we set out at the start of the week. For the week's objective was to unlock the yellow science, research the uranium ammo, and then build a better defense around the perimeter with the new ammo and some new titanium turrets or tier 2 turrets. And then we also now have yellow science. So what we need to do now is, aside from upgrading the rest of our perimeter with this, then we will be moving towards the purple science, the final sort of non-infinite, well, yeah, the purple science. We're going to work towards purple science, which is going to be absolutely disgustingly horrible, difficult. And we do have a few drones available, but it's going to be needing like a lot of drones for us to do this. Remember the mechanic that we have, that these drones are for any subscribers on Twitch. So that will be if the time there's a new subscriber or a recurring subscriber that refreshes their subscription, then it will add one drone here. Doesn't count Prime, and it doesn't count the gift subs. So that's how it works. And that means we are now sort of getting into the late game. We have yellow science unlocked. Also, another big thing that we want to do is we just got our power armor, but it doesn't have anything in here. And we also want to get a power armor Mark 3 as well, because that's part of the Factorio extended, so we can get more better legs and more robots, and actually get the robots operational. It's only now that we're getting like the last pieces here, and then we are ready to do that. So I hope that you find it interesting, these kind of updates, catching you up on what I'm doing on my Twitch series, and maybe you find it interesting. If you do, well, let me just mention, I am streaming live most days at 8 p.m. Central European time. It's Factorio on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays. Generally, there might be some change of plans, but you can see the schedule over on Twitch on my channel, or you can see it every week. It's posted on Sundays in my Discord, so do come join that one as well if you feel like it. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys in another episode, either here on YouTube, maybe over on Twitch, or maybe in the Discord. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care and stay effective.